You claim to love your spouse. If you do, take a moment to consider your actions. The last time, we began the two-part series of minding your manners in marriage. I gave a few tips on how you can become a mannerful partner. Let us lift up where we landed last week and talk about other tips on how to become a better mannered partner. Beautiful people, welcome to Manners on the Go, where we speak to the dwindling values in our society, especially where manners and civility are concerned. I am Tosin Babasanya Craig, and if it's your first time here, I'd like to specially welcome you. Please hit the red subscribe icon so that you can get an update when a new video drops. Today's episode is brought to you by The Building Practice Limited, a leading architecture and construction firm based here in Lagos, Nigeria. A big thank you to you for sponsoring this episode. The last time, we began the two-part series of minding your manners in marriage. I gave a few tips on how you can become a mannerful partner. If you haven't watched that video, I'm glad to drop the link in the comment section. Today, we will continue, but I'd like to check in by asking these questions. You claim to love your spouse. If you do, take a moment to consider your actions. Think about how you speak and act to them, and then ask yourself the following 5 questions. Number 1, are you respectful or are you uncouth? Number 2, are you polite or are you inappropriate in your actions? Number 3, are you mannerly or are you crude? Number 4, are you patient or are you difficult to live with? Are you considerate or are you selfish? And finally, are you kind or you are just plain mean? What are your answers? You see, I can imagine that right now, some of you are focused on who your partner is or isn't. The excellent thing to do, however, is that instead of listing and focusing on your spouse's actions or inactions, turn the focus to the things you need to correct in your own behavior. The truth is, we can all get on each other's nerves. After all, we're different in our nature and our nurture. The bigger truth also is that there is nothing you can do to change your spouse. You do not have the power to do so. One thing though that you have the power to change is your own behavior. When you correct your behavior or your attitude to your spouse's behavior, usually a positive side effect is that your spouse adjusts his behavior too. Now, this is not a call to pretense. It is a call to authenticity. Constantly seek to improve yourself because you value who you are as a person. With this in mind, let us lift up where we landed last week and talk about other tips on how to become a better mannered partner. Number 7, do not be critical of your spouse. There's a huge difference between criticism and critiquing. While a healthy dose of the latter can be beneficial, the former can ruin a union. People that are constantly criticized are prone to making even more mistakes. Criticism can only do one thing: destroy rather than build. It will affect your spouse's self-esteem if you constantly berate them and their actions. Number 8, put away your fill the gap in conversations. Practice active listening. While you think you can multitask, you certainly can't multi-focus in a conversation. Respect your spouse enough to give them the deserving attention. Put down your gadgets when you're being spoken to. Moreover, when you're in a conversation, the best thing to do is to give verbal and non-verbal cues that indicate that you are indeed listening to your spouse. The action helps to minimize misunderstanding. You cannot achieve this when you are focused on something else. Number 9, never yell at your partner. Don't raise your voice to your spouse. Notice those things that may be the triggers and avoid them. When your blood starts boiling or your nerves are getting on edge, calm down. Move away from the scene. Go take a shower. Do whatever you need to do to stop yourself from yelling. You can control yourself. You surely have the power to do so. Number 10, give your partner grace. He or she is human, and every human is fallible. Always give your partner the benefit of the doubt. If they fail at a chore or forget something important, don't be quick to label it as a character flaw. Give room for growth. Give room for learning and unlearning, and be patient while at it. Number 11, unlearn bad behavior. You must understand that so many things you may have gotten away with as a single person may have to go. Now you need to be more accountable. You can't keep dirty clothes for many weeks like you used to, or gobble down juice from a carton like you used to, or fail to call when you're outside late in the night. Don't pick offense so easily. Marriage is neither the place to nitpick or nag. It can be very exhausting. Depending on how you were raised, you may not have seen good manners growing up, but thankfully, being kind and polite are learnable skills. May I invite you to be a mannerful partner to your spouse? While I bring this to a close, may I say this: by all means, let your guard down around your loved ones, especially your spouse. Be vulnerable with them in a way you wouldn't with the general public. But very importantly, treat your spouse courteously and respectfully at all times. Cheers to a happy marriage. Thank you.